The entire women's tennis world is in full panic mode right now. And I mean full, uncontrollable, sweating through their shirts panic. The executives, the veterans, the agents, every single person who holds power in this sport is desperately trying to figure out what just happened. Because something just dropped that nobody saw coming. Something so massive, so game-changing, that the entire power structure of the WTA just cracked straight down the middle. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just wait. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why the most feared name in women's tennis right now isn't even a veteran. She's a 20-year-old from the Philippines, and she just got the most dangerous endorsement in the history of the sport. Are you ready? Because this changes everything. Rafael Nadal, 22-time Grand Slam champion, the king of clay, the most mentally terrifying competitor the sport has ever produced, just bypassed every media outlet, every press conference, every PR machine, and sent a direct, powerful, shockingly public message of praise to Alexandra Eala. Not a polite tweet. Not a generic congratulations. He claimed her. He pointed at her in front of the entire tennis world and said, "She is mine. She came from my fire. She carries my DNA on that court." And right now, every single player on the WTA Tour is reading that message and feeling something they have never felt before: genuine, paralyzing fear. But here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. Do you think Nadal does this for just anyone? Because he doesn't. This man has built an empire, a legacy, a myth, and he does not attach his name to people casually. So why Eala? Why now? Why with this much force? That answer is going to completely change how you see her. The Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca is not what you think it is. You might picture some beautiful Spanish facility with perfect clay courts, gorgeous weather, young kids hitting forehands in matching outfits. Forget that image completely. The academy is a war zone disguised as a tennis school. They break you down mentally before they build you back up. They push your body until it wants to quit, and then they tell you to play 3 more hours. They strip away your ego, your fear, your excuses, your comfort zones, everything, until the only thing left inside of you is this cold, obsessive, almost psychotic hunger to win every single point like your life depends on it. Nadal didn't build that place to produce good tennis players. He built it to produce apex predators. And the question the entire tour is asking themselves right now is this: did he just produce the most dangerous one yet? Because when Nadal looks at Alexandra Eala, he doesn't see a talented student. He sees his own reflection. He sees the same vicious topspin that used to psychologically destroy Roger Federer. He sees the same relentless footwork that made Novak Djokovic physically exhausted just watching it. He sees the same dead-eyed, unblinking, terrifying focus of a person who will stand on that baseline for 5 hours straight and absolutely refuse to give you a single free point. He sees himself. And that is the most terrifying sentence anyone in women's tennis has heard in years. Now let me paint you a picture of what the top seeds are experiencing right now. Imagine you're a top 10 player. You have a massive sponsorship deal. You have a team of coaches. You've been in the game for a decade. You sit down in your hotel room, you pull up the tournament draw, and you see her name next to yours. Your first instinct is to look for a weakness. You pull up the tape. You watch match after match. And what do you see? You see her winning 86% of second serve points. You see her suffocating veterans in tiebreaks, the moments where the strongest minds are supposed to win. You see her staying completely emotionless when she's down, completely controlled when she's ahead. And then your phone buzzes. And it's Rafael Nadal, the greatest mental warrior in tennis history, publicly telling the world that she is his masterpiece. Do you think you sleep that night? Do you think you walk onto that court feeling confident? That is not just a tennis match anymore. That is a psychological execution before the first ball is even struck. And the entire WTA Tour knows it. But here's the part that the mainstream media isn't talking about, and this is where it gets really interesting. Why are the established veterans so uniquely terrified of Eala specifically? Because the normal playbook doesn't work on her. When a young player starts making noise, starts upsetting seeds, starts getting attention, the establishment has a system. They isolate them. They whisper about them in locker rooms. They manufacture pressure. They wait for the full grind of the year-long tour to slowly crush their confidence and break their spirit. It happens to almost every young player. Almost every one. But you cannot run that playbook on a player who is personally trained, backed, and publicly endorsed by Rafael Nadal. The second Nadal made that endorsement, he didn't just praise her game. He made her untouchable. He told the entire tour, "If you come for her, you come through me and everything my name stands for." He took their rulebook, soaked it in fuel, and lit it on fire. So what does Alexandra Eala actually look like when she plays? Because the stats tell one story, but watching her is something completely different. There's a moment in her recent matches, and if you watch closely, you'll catch it, where she's in a tight tiebreak, maybe 5-4 down, 1 point from disaster, and she bounces on her toes, exhales, and her face goes completely blank. No fear. No tension. Nothing. And then she hits a winner down the line like she's hitting in practice. That's not talent. That's not luck. That's programming. That's what the Nadal Academy puts inside of you. This unshakable belief that the most dangerous moment in a match is actually your moment. That pressure isn't something that happens to you. It's something you create and hand to your opponent. And the veterans are realizing this too late. Because by the time they figure out she doesn't panic, they're already the ones panicking. Now let's talk about what Nadal's endorsement means commercially, because this is where the real chaos begins. The agencies in New York and London, the management companies, the luxury brands, the global television networks, they are in emergency meetings right now. Because they understand something the average fan doesn't fully grasp yet. Eala, with Nadal's blessing, is not just a tennis player anymore. She is a global commercial phenomenon waiting to explode. The luxury brands want the story of the Filipina prodigy trained by the King of Clay. The television executives want the ratings that come with her walking onto center court. The tournament directors want her in their draws because she sells tickets, she sells streams, she creates moments. And the established veterans, the ones who've been the faces of this tour for years, they are watching their sponsorship leverage evaporate in real time. Overnight. Because of a 20-year-old from the Philippines who just got the most powerful stamp of approval in the sport's history. Is anyone in the WTA ready for what's coming? Can anyone actually stop this? Let's be honest. Now I have to talk about the weapon that makes everything else possible, the thing that no sponsorship deal and no coaching staff can manufacture or buy. The Eala Army. When Alexandra Eala walks onto a court, she doesn't walk out there as an individual. She walks out there carrying millions of Filipinos on her back. People who wake up at 3 in the morning just to watch her play. People who have never followed tennis a day in their lives but now know every statistic, every opponent, every result. And now those millions of Filipinos are fused with the entire global Rafa nation, one of the largest, most passionate, most fanatical fan bases in the history of sports. The noise that combination creates, the psychological weight it puts on opponents, is something no other player on tour can even imagine. Her opponents aren't just playing her. They're playing the crowd. They're playing the history. They're playing the story of Rafa Nadal reborn in a 20-year-old from Southeast Asia. And they're crumbling under it. Watch the faces of her opponents when the crowd erupts. Watch how they look at the ground a little longer. How their serves get a little more cautious. How their movement gets a little stiffer. That is pressure. That is what Eala weaponizes better than anyone else on tour right now. And after her most recent victory, straight sets, dominant, efficient, relentless, she sat down for an interview and said something so quietly confident that it stopped me cold. She talked about patience. She talked about knowing her opponent was going to come back hard and choosing to stay calm instead of forcing the issue. And then she said something that could have come directly from Nadal himself, that every day she is working to fill her cup outside of tennis, to switch off, to stay human, so that when she steps onto that court she has given herself everything she possibly could have given. That is not a 20-year-old talking. That is a champion talking. That is someone who has been taught not just how to hit a tennis ball, but how to sustain greatness over the long, brutal, unforgiving grind of a professional career. And the most terrifying part? She's only just starting. She was ranked 140 in the world a year ago. 1 year. She's sitting at 29 now and climbing every single week. Every match she wins, every round she advances, every veteran she sends home, she is learning, adapting, evolving. Imagine what she looks like in 2 years. Imagine what she looks like with another full season of Nadal Academy refinement in her game. The veterans have a small window right now, and they know it. Because every month that passes, that window closes a little more. She is coming for every single ranking point, every single title, every single crown, and she has the hunger, the system, the backing, and the army to take all of it. This is not the future of women's tennis. She is the present. The revolution is not arriving. It has already arrived. And the king has already spoken. So I need to know right now, do you believe anyone on the WTA Tour can actually stop Alexandra Eala this season? Is there one player, who has the game, the mental strength, and the sheer will to match what Nadal trained her to become? Or is the rest of this year just a victory lap for the pride of the Philippines? Drop your answer in the comments right now.